YouTube, this is Doris. I am here to do my NXT and SmackDown review for the week. NXT was a studio show. It was on New Year's Day. They announced the year-end award ceremony, who won what, and the matches were basically three matches that they showed from different takeovers. Those were the ones that were nominated as Match of the Year. And the one that won was Johnny Gargano versus Adam Cole, 2 out of 3 falls match at TakeOver New York. And the takeover of the year was War Games. The tag team of the year was Undisputed Era. Male competitor of the year was Adam Cole. Female competitor of the year was Shayna Baszler. Rivalry of the year was Gargano and Cole. Future NXT Star of the Year was Dakota Kai. And the Breakout Star of the Year was Keith Lee. Overall Competitor of the Year was Adam Cole. So the Undisputed Era got quite a few of the awards. Adam Cole himself got 4. And then they also won the Tag Team of the Year. And that was pretty much it for NXT. For SmackDown, they started out with a recap of last week's triple threat match that Daniel Bryan won. They showed a segment of backstage with Daniel Bryan and The Miz talking about The Fiend, and The Miz stating how he wanted to go after the Fiend for violating his home and where his daughter sleeps, and said that he knows that Bryan won the right to face the Fiend at the Rumble, but that the Miz wanted to take everything that the Fiend loves away from him, which would be basically the title. They go back out to ringside, announce a triple threat tag team match for the women's division. They also announced the main event for SmackDown would be Corbin and Ziggler versus Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan. So the triple threat match, tag team match for the women is Sasha and Bayley versus Lacey and Dana versus Nikki and Alexa. Everybody comes out with mics. Bayley talks about New Year resolutions and the difference between her and Sasha and the audience. As far as keeping resolutions, the audience doesn't have the strength or determination to keep resolutions, unlike her and Sasha. She also starts talking about Lacey and Lacey's daughter. This brings out Lacey and Dana. Lacey says how she's sick of Sasha and Bayley talking about her daughter, and that her resolution is to show her daughter and other young children how to be a winner. Nikki and Bliss come out, and Alexa says she doesn't know why they're even in this match, due to everyone talking about the rivalry between Banks and Bayley and Lacey and Dana. Nikki responds and says they do belong in this match because they want the tag team titles back. So the match starts out with Lacey and Nikki. Originally, Sasha was going to start the match, but she ended up tagging in Nikki when she saw Lacey was going to start. Then Lacey tags in Dana. A lot of tags going back and forth, a lot of blind tags, a lot of back and forth. lot of underhanded tactics, which we've come to expect from Banks and Bailey. A lot of outside interference, double teaming, but the winners ended up being Dana and Lacey after Lacey gives Bailey the woman's rights and Dana gets the pin after a senton bomb off the top rope. I'm sorry, after a senton in the ring, she pins Bailey. They do a Dolph and Mandy segment with Otis recap from last week. They show Otis and Mandy in the back talking about what his mama made on New Year's Day. Uh, Otis tells Mandy if she wants to know if his mama made anything to ask Ziggler, and she looks a little bit hurt because she says, "Oh, you saw that?" And he says, "No, I didn't. My mama did." Tucker comes out and interrupts them, tells Otis he has a match and he needs to focus on the match, and leads Otis away from Mandy. They go back to another backstage area with The Miz and the New Day. The New Day are trying to be their usual positive self, wish The Miz a happy new year. Miz tells them he's not in the mood, he's not happy. They go on to go over Miz's year and tell him everything he has to be happy about. He gets frustrated with it, tells them it's not about titles and it's all about what the Fiend has done to him and his family. And he slaps the pancake plate out of Kofi's hands. Kofi says challenge accepted. And we go back to the ring area. They have Elias out. He has made a New Year song, has to do with other superstars, Shane McMahon, Sammy, the Revival. And then at the end of the song, he says he's going to be at the Rumble. The announcers talk about the Revival and the things the Revival are saying about the company not using them, the company making jokes out of them, and they show the Revival in the locker room area talking about the Miracle on 34th Street and again about WWE making them into bad jokes and how hard they've worked for the company. Shorty G comes in, tells them that they need to stop listening to what other people say about them. And that's what he did when he decided to embrace himself and rename himself Shorty G. This interaction basically leads to a match between Dawson and Shorty G. I'm sorry, Wilder and Shorty G. Wilder ends up tapping out to the ankle lock. Dawson and Wilder attack Shorty G. After the match, they put him into a shatter machine. They go to start working him up again, and Sheamus comes out. It's old school to Sheamus. Mohawk's gone. He runs down to the ring. The Revival have Shorty G. They throw Shorty G into Sheamus, but Sheamus goes around him, chases the Revival out of the ring, and just when you think that Sheamus is there to save Shorty G, he ends up bro kicking Shorty G. So this leads us to wonder, has Sheamus come back as face? Is he heel still? Exactly what is he? We don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Then we have the Kofi Miz match when we come back from commercial. Kofi quickly gets control over the Miz. They talk about how The Miz has taken everything with The Fiend to heart, how The Fiend has made it personable, and that he is in The Miz's head. We basically have Kofi pin him for the 1, 2, 3. He attacks Kofi after Kofi wins the match. Big E comes in to save him. When The Miz is leaving ringside, the crowd is chanting that he sucks, and he starts yelling, "After everything I've been through, I've given you people everything," and he walks out of the ring, or the ringside area. Then we go out back to see Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns in an interview. They're talking about the Royal Rumble. Bryan says he's the only one that has not been broken by the Fiend, that has faced him, uses The Miz as an example, and says because of this fact, he will beat the Fiend at the Rumble. Roman informs him if he wins the title, that means he will be facing Roman at Mania, because Roman intends on winning the Rumble, which would give him a title shot at Mania. So then they say how they're pumped up and ready, and Ziggler and Corbin has no idea what's going to hit them. We go out to the match, to the ringside area. We have a match between Otis and Drew Gulak. Drew Gulak talks about how he has a 352 slide presentation on why Mandy Rose would never date Otis. Otis ends up reaching down and dragging him into the ring and basically whooping his butt. They show Mandy watching the match. Ziggler comes up with her and they start going back and forth. Mandy tells Ziggler he needs to apologize to Otis. He says he will. Otis knocks Gulak down, does the caterpillar, and then a splash off the top rope, and gets the 1, 2, 3 on Gulak. We have a Braun Strowman versus Cesaro match. Cesaro comes out with Shinsuke and Zayn in tow, and the announcers talk about how Cesaro doesn't back down even though the size difference. Shinsuke and Sammy, of course, keep interfering, jumping on the apron, distracting Strowman. Uh, Despite their efforts, Strowman still gets the pin on Cesaro. Immediately after the 1, 2, 3, Shinsuke hits the Kinshasa on Strowman, and the three make their way up the ramp. As they're looking back at Strowman, and Strowman is staring them down, giving them the evil eye. And now we have our main event, which is Roman and Bryan versus Ziggler and Corbin. This match was pretty good. They did make Roman look a little weak. They sent him into the stairs, which he took a long time for him to recover from. I don't even think he really fully recovered. They threw him into the shoulder first into the post a few times. They showed Daniel Bryan trying to ramp up the crowd during this series. And when they finally got Daniel tagged in, he starts doing the yes kicks, and we hear the creepy laugh of the Fiend over the loudspeaker. And then the weird thing is they went to commercial as the laughter came over the loudspeaker. They get back from commercial and they never mention it. Never mention the Fiend's laughter. Never questioned where the Fiend was. But we end up with, when they went to commercial, it was Bryan and Ziggler. They get back from commercial and it's Reigns and Corbin. So obviously the action continued during the commercial. And so basically, uh, Bryan gets tagged back in and he starts getting the upper hand on Ziggler again. He ended up uh, doing the label lock. Corbin did break up the label lock before Ziggler could tap out. And then uh, he goes to do I'm sorry. Bryan goes to do the knee kick or the flying knee, and once he hits it, the lights go out. We hear the creepy music of the Fiend. The red light comes on, and the Fiend is at ringside. Daniel Bryan jumps out of the ring over the top rope to try and take out the Fiend and misses. The Fiend throws him into the stairs, puts the mandible claw on him, throws him through the barricade, puts the mandible claw back on him. The lights come back on, and the Fiend is gone. We see Daniel Bryan still laying on top of the barricade that's knocked down. Reigns runs over to check on him. The announcers say the match is still going on despite the outside interference, and Corbin and Ziggler end up attacking Reigns, throwing him in the ring. Ziggler pulls out cuffs again along with some dog food, and they start to go to cuff him again as they did a while back. And all of a sudden, what hits but the Usos music? Yes, the Usos are back. Both sporting new hairdos, both their hair are cut short, and they come down and, of course, save Roman with double super kicks to both Corbin and Ziggler, and we go off the air with them uncuffing Reigns, and that was your SmackDown. It was a pretty good show. I I liked the Strowman match. I also liked the 6-woman tag match. The main event, despite the Fiend coming out, I think it could have gone a little bit better. But overall, it was a decent match. So yeah, let me know what you thought, what your favorite match was. Let me know if you were able to see it. Other than that, I thank you for joining me once again, and I look forward to your feedback. Like I said, let me know what your favorite match was, and what you hated, what you loved, and hopefully everyone had a happy and safe New Year. And let me know what you thought of the NXT Year-End Awards. Did you disagree with their findings? They did do 3 different votes. They did, apparently the Fox channel had their own votes. They did media voting, and then they did the universe voting. So there were supposedly three different branches of voting that they did and tallied them up to pick the winners. But yeah, let me know what you think, peeps. I appreciate you being here with me again, and I look forward to your comments, and I will see you next week. Thank you, YouTube. Have a great night. Bye.